and thanks for joining this piece of SUNY Oswego's Imagine 2022 program. This interview is part of the Week 3 programming surrounding the theme of Imagine Connecting. My name is Jessica Burnett, and I'm a current senior graduating in 2022 with a degree in public relations. Some of the things I'm involved in on campus consist of being the Secretary for Public Relations Student Society of America. I'm also the Director of Public Relations for the Student Association. I'm a dancer for Del Art Dance Club, and I work in the alumni office for the Future Alumni Network as an intern. And I'm also on the Oswego Alumni Association board as a student representative. Today, I am joined by Jeff Knauss, class of 2007 from SUNY Oswego. Thank you for joining us today, Jeff. So to jump right in, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, including your current position and the company you currently are involved in?
Sure. Well, Jessica, it's amazing to hear all the incredible things you're involved with. I love to see active students on campus. It's going to do you, it's going to serve you very well when you graduate. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm Jeff. It's a little hard to kind of explain these days what I do and what company I'm involved with because back in 2014, I started a company called Digital Hive. We are a digital marketing agency with offices in Syracuse and Rochester, around 56 full-time employees. And in 2021, I actually sold the company to another ad agency called Butler Till. And so, as of January 1st, I'm no longer with that company. Although I love it and I'm very proud of everything that the Digital Hive has accomplished and will accomplish in the future. Today, now that I've sold my company, I kind of thought that, I would retire and not do a whole lot. But pretty much soon after I sold the company, I realized that the thing I love doing is starting businesses. And so I'm currently in the process of opening 2 restaurants. One's a diner and one's a sushi restaurant. I'm also I've started a mastermind group called Profound. Profound is a mastermind group where we bring in 100 of the best and brightest minds throughout upstate New York, have these incredible events, bring in amazing celebrity guest speakers to help all of our members really level up their lives, both personally and professionally through content, through networking, through incredible experiences. And so I've co-founded that. I've also just joined the board of directors at Community Bank, which is a publicly owned company. And so that's an exciting new venture. I sit on currently 6 board of directors, everything from Community Bank as well as SUNY Oswego's foundation board of directors. And so I'm I also, on top of all that, I also have an investment company. So I do angel investing into companies ranging from payment processing to hemp processing to biomedical companies and a lot of things in between. And so I have a lot going on, and it's going to be a fun 2022.
Awesome, thank you. Sounds like you're very involved in general with everything, including still Oswego, and that's really great. That's like always really nice to hear, especially from our alumni. So thank you for letting us know more about you.
Sure.
We're going to jump right into the interview questions now. So our first question is, what do you love most, or what energizes you most about your current position?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, there's all these new businesses. I'm just in the process of starting them. I'm a partner in a restaurant called Exo Taco based in Syracuse. So I have some food and beverage experience, but really my business partner, Chris, is the mastermind behind that restaurant. For the diner and the sushi restaurant that I'm starting with another couple business partners, I'm really leading the logistics. So I'm learning a lot about construction and food and beverage safety and hiring, food service folks and everything in between. And so, as well as my mastermind group, that's a brand new company. I kind of thought of the idea. I have a couple partners in that as well, but I'm really the operational partner and CEO of that company. And so I discovered when I was running Digital Hive that, when I first started it, it was just myself and my business partner, just 2 guys in a 200 square foot office. And as we started to scale, we grew extremely fast. Over 6 or 7 years, we had grown, 13, 14,000% over that time. Hired a lot of employees, and I had a great time, best experience of my life thus far. But what I realized is I really love starting something new. I'm not a great executive that's going to take a company from, 50 employees to 250 employees. What I love is starting a company and taking it from 0 to 50. So the thing that energizes me the most is the newness of everything, solving challenges that have never been solved before, creating new businesses out of thin air. The idea to take just an idea and execute it and bring it to life. I love that. It's stressful. There's a lot to it. But it really challenges me and helps fulfill that professional itch that I have. I think I might have what you call entrepreneurial ADD.
I love that. Yeah, I am the same exact way. Like I love the new challenges and new like I guess risks you could say. So like I feel the same way about that.
It's cool.
Our next question is what are some tips you might give to students or even recent grads when it comes to exploring various careers and interests?
So I always like to give the advice to start with the end in mind first and then work backwards. And so the end is a little bit misleading because it's not the end. I'm not saying like where you're going to be when you're 65 years old and ready to retire. Now, maybe for someone they have that clarity, but for most people that recently graduated or students, you're not going to know, and you shouldn't know, by the way, what you want out of your life in a very big picture way. But you should have some direction of maybe not even career path. I think a lot of people get hung up on, I want this job or I want this career. More so, I think people should start thinking about what are your North Stars? What matters to you? Do you want to have kids? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to live in a certain area? Do you want to live a certain lifestyle? Or certain things important to you? Do you want to live on a farm? Do you want to have animals? There's these like personal things that are important from a goal perspective. And then you want to think about timeline. So some of that, of course, is career. So maybe you say, I'd love to be, you're graduating with a PR degree. I graduated with a PR degree as well. Maybe you say, I'd love to be a chief operating or chief marketing officer for a Fortune 500 company within the next 10 years. Sweet. So then okay, this is what I want to accomplish. I want to live in this area. I want to have a family. I want to have this job. Great. Next 10 years, that's what my long-term goal is. And then you can say, all right, what are the steps I need to take to get there? And then you reverse engineer that to say, all right, in order to get to this step, I need to take this step before that, this step before that, this step before that, which will then lead to, all right, what are the steps in front of me? What do I have to do to start, right? And that might just be get experience doing this, learning this skill. I think one of the cautionary things that I tell people is don't worry too much about the first job out of school. The first job out of school is really just, it's stretching a lot of new muscles. It's learning a lot of new skills and making a lot of mistakes so that you can be prepared to go down that journey that you want to. And so more so, I like to think about, all right, start with the end in mind, reverse engineer it, then come up with some of those skills that you need to have in order to start that journey. And that can help kind of make those decisions around, well, what kind of career path or jobs do I want to pursue?
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, as a almost May graduate of 2022, it's very much freaking me out a little bit with the whole careers and stuff. But these are definitely very helpful for someone like in my situation or even like anyone at SUNY Oswego. So thank you so much for that. And then our third question is, what advice might you give our viewers regarding internships or even starting out entry level in a new career field?
So I think that the first thing you want to do is understand not so much again the tactical parts of the job or the job title. More so, it's the skills that you want to be able to hone in order to reach your end goals, right? So when you're thinking about trying to find a new job or get a new internship, I think one of the things that people don't do enough is they don't think creatively enough about how to contact the decision maker for that job or for that internship. There has never been a better opportunity to connect personally with someone, to get in someone's DMs, inboxes, their phone number, whatever it may be, and have yourself stand out. And so I always give the advice to somebody. I think this is really critical. If I'm looking for a job, it's my first job, you're graduating in May, there's thousands of students to graduate in May with similar degrees, similar experience as you. And so ultimately, what's it going to take for that hiring manager to just give you the opportunity to sit in front of him or her, right? And I think if you were to go out and find, you identify the top 5 companies that are interesting to you, and then you find the executive team that works for those companies, and you DM the top 10 people at that company and say, "Hi, my name's Jessica. I went to SUNY Oswego. Here's my interests. I was on," and then make it all about them. "I was on your website. I was on your social media. I was so impressed by your culture, your vision, what you guys do. I absolutely love everything about this thing, and you've made my top 5 companies that I'm interested in working for someday. I'd love to connect with you." That's the connection request. Then the next follow-up, they connect with you, right? LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever it is. And then you follow up with, "Again, thanks so much for the connection. It's so great. Here's some value. Like I was thinking about, this challenge that you guys are facing, or I saw this cool new initiative that you have. Here's an idea, add some value. Here's an idea that I had. And if you were ever in need of a little bit of executional help, I'd love to chat with you," right? Not nearly enough people take the time to be tactical and strategic and different from everyone else. Everyone just puts their application in Indeed, sends it off, and hopes for the best. You can go directly to the source, be a little different, be a little unique, show your personality. It's going to go a long way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, just the sound of it sounds actually really smart, and I never thought about it like that either. So very strategic too, and I like that way of thinking also.
Yeah,
Thank
most
you for
people
that.
don't. I think it's just it's a
Yeah.
massive opportunity that's being missed, I think.
Yeah, I've never even thought to do that, but now I'm going to when I go to
Yeah.
apply for jobs. So thank you for that. Um, Next question. Kind of touched a little bit on LinkedIn, but in your opinion, of all the social media platforms out there, what do you think holds the most importance of for career development and advancing professionally, and why?
Yeah, I think it's kind of based on what you want to do. If you're a creative, other it might like your Instagram profile may be more important, but in general, it is definitely LinkedIn. And I would highly suggest every single student, every young graduate, every single person on this planet to have a LinkedIn, to create a really good profile and post consistently on the platform. Very few, other than TikTok, there are very few algorithms that allow your content to be seen organically, meaning not paid, more than LinkedIn. The LinkedIn algorithm is insane. It'll get your message out to so many people. And if you're creating consistent content, telling people who you are, what your interests are, what you're about, and adding value to your network, you're going to win on LinkedIn bigger than any other platform professionally.
Yeah, that's great. What do you believe differentiates a great LinkedIn profile from a mediocre one?
I think it's first of all, I think everything is about standing out, right? So having your a really nice profile picture is important to showcase, professionally who you are. Having a nice cover photo, having all your, information in a really succinct but compelling way, right? Really good content, really good copy on your LinkedIn profile. But honestly, I think even more important than all of that is posting content. Just consistently getting really thoughtful, strong content out there that's adding value to people. That's what will win the day more than anything else.
Mhm. Also, I recently even updated my LinkedIn because I just keep adding like random class materials that I know will help me, that I know I did really well with, and like updated my resume and added that. Like that's what I do with my LinkedIn all the time and just keep updating that. So I think that's a really um, good way of saying like a great LinkedIn profile is basically updating it constantly. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that. And you could take that same resume, you could take that same like coursework that you did, post it to your network. And by the way, LinkedIn is a completely different social media than Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. There's a lot of trolls on other social media. For the most part, LinkedIn is pretty positive and people want to help. And so
Mhm.
posting out like, hey everybody, this is my new resume. I'd love some critiques on it. I'm really excited to get into the profession of public relations. If there's anybody that knows someone that's hiring and thinks I might be a good fit, please let me know. I guarantee you will, as long as you've built a network and you've made connections, I guarantee that there will be someone that's like, "Oh, I can help," or, "Oh, looks great." You'll at the very least get encouragement from your network, which just makes your help feel that much better.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's just like so important to make those connections and stuff. So definitely agree with that. Our next question. Says, given the increased emphasis of remote work since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, what tips might you give to professionals to help them stand out even in a virtual setting?
I think it's about preparation. It's just like being in person. The best thing that you can do is be prepared when you get on a Zoom. Make sure you're early. Make sure you have your camera set up right. Make sure you test your camera. Make sure your audio equipment's working. Make sure all that's in place because you want to look put together, right? You want to look like a professional that has, been thoughtful and excited about it. The other thing that I think people miss in interviews is like, be excited, show that you want the job, because so often people are very like, well, here's what it is. And I'm not even sure if they want it. And a lot of times I know that's because they're nervous. So I'm very empathetic to that. But some people, some hiring managers, they may just take that as despondent and don't care. So I always encourage people to show, and even if you're not like an enthusiastic person, you don't have a big personality, just by showing like, I went to your website and I love this. I went to your social media and I love this. Hey, I noticed on your website there was an error clicking on this link. I just wanted to give you a heads up. Showing that amount of detail and research and being prepared means the world to, because when I've been a hiring manager I probably interviewed thousands of people throughout my career. I can tell you there's only a handful that stood out, and those people are the people that came prepared, they were excited about it, and they were ready to learn. That's it. They don't have to have incredible experience. It's more about the charisma and the personality.
Yeah, exactly. I even learned in one of my classes too that it's always good to go into your interviews and anything with definitely like a good research background of what your job you're applying for and like what place in the company is about and everything, or else like it does show that you're uninterested. So it's good to hear like from another person too, other than a professor as well, that you agree with that logic too. So
100%.
yeah, I like that. Our next question is, as a college student or even in your professional years, did you have any specific mentors or Oswego alumni connections that helped you get your foot in the door or reach your next goals?
Kristen Eichhorn was a very influential professor of mine. She helped me tremendously. Lou Borelli is an influence of mine. Uh, uh, Frank Palumbo came in and spoke. He works at Nielsen. He came in and spoke at an event when I was young, communications dinner. President Stanley has obviously been a huge supporter and friend of mine. Mary Canale. I mean, there's honestly, the reason that I'm so involved with SUNY Oswego is because there's too many people to mention. The Oswego community, if you engage with you give what you get, what you give, right? And so if you make connections with people at Oswego, Laura Kelly, you make connections with these people, they are honestly the people that will be your biggest supporters. If you have to put in the effort, right? Build relationships, but everybody has your back. I love Oswego so much because everyone is so supportive, including alumni, right? So that's what I'd say is it's about building relationships. And I've just had probably too many to mention. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. I apologize if I am, because I know that I am, but there's a tremendous amount, and the Oswego alumni network is huge. You meet a ton. When you graduate, you're gonna be like, whoa, you're from Oswego, you're from Oswego. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. Even like as a current student, I feel that just being involved in so many things, like I'm obviously meeting so many people, but I just like feel like it's such a benefit to like become involved with the campus and like just get as involved as possible. So I think that's like really great,
Yeah.
a really great thing to do. Um, so our last question of this interview is, what final tips and recommendations do you have to share with our students and recent grads on how they can create and or elevate their own brand?
So I think you like there's never been a better opportunity in the history of the world to be able to tell people who you are. When you talk about personal branding, you are essentially crafting an image of who you want to be. And by utilizing social media, you can do that better at scale more than you ever have. Before, it was like you have to go and individual conversations, shake people's hand. Now you can literally broadcast to the world, who am I? What am I about? What are my values? What do I care about? And so I think understanding that and understanding the value that young people bring today. I mean, there's also never been a time in the history of the world where someone can graduate college and have a seat at the executive level table. The reason for that is because digital technology is changing so quickly. And people that are not digitally native, people that are in positions of power, that are in the executive offices, they have to try really hard to understand this technology because they didn't grow up with it, right? They were not native to mobile phones, to social media, to Web 2.0, certainly not Web 3.0, right? And so the more that young people understand the power that they can wield by just simply educating themselves through college education and outside of college education by going online and looking at online resources, doing Google certifications, whatever it may be, there is a tremendous amount of knowledge. The internet has made it so that we can learn anything at any time. It's unbelievable. It's crazy that the internet exists. It doesn't seem real. So the fact that people can go and do that and then use that knowledge to help build their brand and talk about things that are important to them, that'll be valuable for their career, crazy opportunity that very few people are taking advantage of because they follow the playbook. I'm just suggesting that, you know, the people that don't, the people that make their own, they're the ones that are going to win in the macro.
It's also like such a great way to market your own self, just like through online. It's just so helpful. Like even if you didn't grow up with it, it's still so important to learn, and just it's really like just a great way to figure out how to market yourself. So
Right. And
yeah.
businesses need it, right? They don't
hmm
understand it, but they know they need it. And so that's where digitally native young people can help. And so when you graduate, that's the significant edge you have, because you may not have the business acumen that those executives have, and you also have to respect that. So it's a balance.
Right. Right, exactly. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your time and knowledge with our Laker family, Jeff. And thanks also to all of you who've watched. We hope you continue to keep an eye out for more Imagine 2022 programming to come. And take care, everyone. And thanks again, Jeff.
Thanks, Jessica. Great chatting with you.
Great chatting with you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.